Good morning, Encounter Church. It is great to see you all this morning. Today is the day the Lord has made. We have come to rejoice and be glad in it. We are blessed enough to have breath in our bodies. We would love you to stand, sing these songs with us, and worship with us. Amen. I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Lord, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. There's nothing, Lord, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. Turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. Say there's nothing, there is nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. Oh, you turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
Never been a time that you didn't see never been a moment that you weren't in it. There's never been a time that you didn't see me through, God. So I worship you, Jesus. I was tossed in the water, but I never went under. You were always on time, Jesus. When I went through the fire, you were right there beside me. You were always on time. You were always, always, 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 always on time. There's never been a day, never been a minute, never been a moment that you weren't in it. There's never been a time that you didn't see me through, God. So I worship you. There's never been a day, never been a minute, never been a moment that you weren't in it. There's never been a time that you didn't see me through, God. So I worship you. I worship you. Jesus, I was tossed in the water, but I never went under. You were always on time, Jesus. When I went through the fire, you were right there beside me. You were always on time.
He is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how he loves us so. Yeah. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us so. He is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are, how great your loves us so. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us so. He loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. We are his portion, and he is our price. Drawn to redemption by the grace in his eyes. Grace is an ocean we're all seeking. So heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss, and my heart turns violently inside of my chest. I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. He loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Yeah, let me hear you guys. Oh, how. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. Declare it, declare it. He loves us. Oh, how. Beautiful. Y'all sound beautiful. Say, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. Say, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us.
just want to sit in that moment for a second. I promise you, I wasn't crying. It's something in the back, in that back room. We sometimes worry so much about how other people see us. We try to do everything in our power to validate their point, try to meet their requirement, what love look like. But you have a great God that says, I love you, right? He loves you, and he's seeking a relationship with you despite everything you do in your life, despite how messed up you are and disappointed. I mean, love like a hurricane. If you watch the news and the tropical right now, the Caribbean, they're being just destroyed by Hurricane Melissa. Trees falling down, people losing lives and houses and everything they have. But God's love is like a hurricane. Put that into perspective. You can't do anything. You can sit down, by the way. You can't do anything to deserve that love. It's free. And yet we're trying to run away from God's love. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. My name is Josh Altidore. If it's your first time here, welcome to Encounter Church. We're so happy to have you here worshiping with us. If you listen to us online, watching us online, welcome. We would love to connect with you, whether via emails or even after this service, Pastor Chris is going to connect with you. Today is the last Sunday for a way out. Pastor Chris have a great message for you guys this morning. So as we're going to go through the video and watch something real quick and for the transition, so Pastor Chris will be here in a second. Thank you so much.
Everywhere you look, people are trapped. They're addicted. They're stuck. They feel like they can't tell anybody. They believe there's no way out. Turn after turn. You try everything, but nothing works. Everything seems to be a dead end. You feel stuck. You want to tell somebody, but you're afraid. What do you do when you feel like there's no way out? The good news is, even though you feel trapped, God will always give you a way out.
Good morning. Welcome to Encounter Church. Like Josh said, my name is Chris Causey, lead pastor here. And if this is your first time, we're so glad that you've chosen to be here today on this beautiful fall day. I get the privilege of kind of finishing up a conversation that we started at the beginning of this month on this topic about a way out. And so I want to kickstart just by taking you one of those stories that popped up over the course of this series that I was like, man, that's such a great living illustration. It happened earlier this month at the Paddlefish, which is a restaurant that's made to look like an old-timey kind of steamboat, paddle boat at Disney Springs down in Walt Disney World. Essentially what happened around midnight as the manager was wrapping up the evening and beginning to put the money that they'd collected that day into the safe, unbeknownst to them, coming up from behind was a scuba diver who had climbed up to the top, had gotten into the boat, or the boat look-alike, had ditched his gear, and began to spray paint security cameras as he made his way to the manager's office and walked away with about $20,000 in cash as he put the scuba gear back on and went back into the very pond in which he'd first emerged. To this point, they still haven't caught the guy. And he's been able to get away in this brazen kind of creative crime. They don't even think he had a weapon, that his most powerful weapon was surprise. Granted, if someone came out of the Blue Lagoon looking like that for me, I'd probably be like, what else do you want? Right? I mean, this would have been a terrifying thing at midnight. And so when I was reading the story, though, I was like, this in so many ways is kind of how we tend to think about temptation and the things that sneak into our lives, or the way that we think we get kind of blindsided by the stuff that takes us down. And over the last month, we've looked at a variety of stories from the Old Testament, where we've looked at different individuals with different types of stories and different types of struggles. And hopefully the general kind of thesis that kind of rose up from those three stories was, this is not typically how temptation works. It doesn't sneak up on us. It doesn't come in out of nowhere and destroy our lives. Rarely ever is it an instant catastrophe. It looks a little different. And my desire today in our next 20, 25 minutes is really to say, okay, if this isn't what temptation typically looks like, then what is it? And then how do we find a way out? Because we've been setting up the conversation over the course of the whole month for this dialogue around finding a way out. Because here's what we know. Our life is a culmination of the decisions we make, good and bad. And that if you want to see your life look differently, if you want your life filled with better decisions and fewer regrets, it starts with the decisions that you and I make daily. And they're typically small decisions. They're not major. It's the cumulative power of a small decision that adds up over over a large period of time, whether that's in our finances, whether that's in our relationships, whether that's in our professional life or our personal life and our health journey, right? That all of us are the living kind of downstream of consequences of the choices that we've made upstream. And God's desire is that we would have a life filled with better decisions, fewer regrets, that we would have a life that honors Him. And so what does it look like to navigate that temptational kind of trap that's always lurking out there for us? But specifically, how do we find a way out when we stumble into one or stumble around one? And to do that, I'm going to take you to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Chapter 10 leads up to verse 11. And the reason why is because what's been playing out in the first 10 verses of this chapter is Paul, who's written this letter to this church in Corinth, Corinth is a city that's like Las Vegas and New York City combined. I mean, it was a bit of an interesting place. It was a place where finance was there, and then everything that you associate with Las Vegas was also there, and you sprinkle in that this was all like religious temples where people were doing things that were insane, and it was a tough place to live. You were constantly surrounded by temptation in Corinth. And so he writes this letter because they had a problem. They were constantly falling into temptation. And so he begins the first 10 verses of this chapter by reminding them of how Israel, when they first came out of Egypt, when God shows up and miraculously releases them from slavery, and He takes them into the desert, and they see the miracles, and they see the Red Sea part, and they see God provide manna and bread from heaven and feed, like this complete, amazing, miraculous season of Israel's history. He's reminding them in the midst of the miraculous, there was also these disasters. That they were constantly struggling and stumbling and sinning and messing up. And he gets to this point where he finally says, these things happened to them as examples and were written down as warnings for us, on whom the culmination of ages have come. He's saying, look, when you look back, these people's lives, they weren't just examples. They were also warnings. Because these people had just witnessed the splitting of the Red Sea. These people would witness God provide food from heaven, and yet they would still complain about not having enough to eat. It's like, if these people in that place could struggle with those things, then maybe we should be aware that we could fall into the same trap that they did too. And so he's just kind of giving them this general reminder of like, hey, looking back, that's not meant to be, oh, look how stupid those people were. Because we've all done that, right? Where somebody tells us a story and you're like, man, they were idiots. And then fast forward a year or two, and then you're looking at the mirror and you're like, I'm an idiot. Or why would someone be so dumb to do that? Why would she ever stay in that relationship? Why would he keep doing that? And then you look up and you're like, why do I keep doing that? Because we can fall into the same trap that others have fallen into too. And the point is, so if you think you're standing firm, be careful you don't fall. He's like, why can we listen to a past story and think, man, they're idiots, but then completely stumble through our own way? He's like, because of pride. Because of the idea that, well, that's their problem. That'll never be my problem. That's an issue that they would have. That would never be an issue that I would have. But pride is like carbon monoxide. Pride's invisible. It creeps in. It has devastating effects. And you don't even know it's there. Oftentimes until it's too late. When I was in college, I actually lost my cousin to carbon monoxide poisoning. They were camping and it got really cold and they brought in a lantern and they didn't realize that the tent was completely kind of air sealed and that lantern had no warning on it, but it was producing carbon monoxide. And they never woke up the next morning. There was no warning, there was no indicator, there was nothing. In the aftermath of that, the major manufacturer, who I won't get into that, but ended up having to start putting warning labels on all of these specific lanterns because there was nothing to indicate how dangerous it really was in closed, confined quarters like a tent on a cold night. And I've always thought about that moment and how tragic it was, but pride is just as tragic. And it's devastation because it creeps into our lives and we breathe it in and we're not even aware it's there. And that's why you see people and they keep flying higher and higher and higher and then they crash. Because that's what pride does. And Paul's like, hey, when you read these past examples, you need to be aware that they're there for a reason. Because the challenge that they have is challenges that we all have, that no temptation, right? No temptation has caused or has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. That we all need these kind of things in our lives. We need those warning systems and those indicators that let us know. And Paul's saying the way that we begin to build this into our life is realizing that there is no temptation that has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. He's like, temptation is not unique to you. It's universal. Like it's present. Like we're still 1.0. There's not a laboratory needing to churn out new temptations for us, right? Because we keep falling for the same things. Oh, he's really charming. Oh, she's really pretty. Oh, no one will know. Oh, it's just one time. Oh, it's just one thing. It's just one sip. We're not that smart. I mean, think about how, especially if you're a parent with kids, think about how easy it is to fool children. And you're like, man, I'm so glad they're stupid, but don't tell them that. But then we are. You're like, oh, go look over there. And it's like, doop, 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 doop. And then the enemy comes into our life and he's like, oh, go look over there. And we're like, doop, 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 doop. And we fall for the same trap. And we think no one's going to notice. We think no one understands. We start to tell ourselves these stories that, well, you know, this is just something I'm dealing with. This is special, and no one else understands what it's like. No one understands what weight I carry and how I need that to find relief, or how good it makes me feel, or how it kind of gives me a little bit of escape. People just wouldn't understand it if I said it, so I'm just going to kind of keep it quiet because it's unique to me. And then you finally sit down and you realize, oh, this isn't unique to me. This is universal. I remember going through in grad school, taking an addiction counseling class, and one of the requirements was we had to essentially kind of stealthily infiltrate a 12-step program without breaking the integrity. So we had to kind of get into the group, not without lying, but without revealing the fact that we were grad students, essentially studying it. Looking back, I don't know if it was necessarily the most ethical thing we ever did. But this was the way our professor who graded us told us to do it. And so But it marked me forever because you would get in there and you could see it play out. You would see the ones who had been in there for a long time and the way they would celebrate the longevity, and you'd see the way they would kind of mourn when someone would have made a choice that week. And but you could tell the new and the old, because the new would come in thinking, man, no one gets me, no one's like me. I've kind of invented this new thing called addiction. And then they would start to share, and all of a sudden they'd realize, oh, I'm surrounded by people who understand. And you would watch this play out, and you'd realize, oh my goodness. People would come in thinking it was unique, and then they would leave feeling like, oh, this is universal. And all of a sudden the walls would start to come down, and community would start to be built because they were like, oh, you get me. You understand. And if anything, I think this is meant to be what the church is supposed to look like. Because if you're in this room or you're listening online and you're a Christian, the doorway into Christianity is confessing that you don't have it figured out. Me included. So if you're new here today and you're like, what's these people like? This is not a church of self-righteous people, because you're not allowed here if you're self-righteous and you think you're a Christian, because that goes against the very thing that Christianity represents. Jesus didn't come to rescue the people who have been rescued. Jesus came to rescue those who recognized they needed to be rescued. We're not perfect. We don't have it figured out. We just have a Savior who does. And that takes the pressure off in some ways so that you don't have to perform and pretend. But the grace that God gives us does make us want to live for Him more and strive to be obedient and strive to reflect it. And so this idea that temptation is not unique, it's universal, is one of those things Paul's trying to communicate that is meant to be helpful in our journey. There's this old Alaskan story it's not true, but I think it's so illustrative that it's worth telling. And it's this idea of how they would claim they would hunt wolves. And that they would essentially make a blood sickle. They would take a knife and they would dip it in blood, freeze it, dip it in blood, freeze it, dip it in blood, freeze it. And then they would stick it in snow and freeze it. And the wolves would smell the blood. And they would come up and they would lick the knife. And the blood sickle would taste pretty good. And they'd lick it again, they'd lick it again. And eventually the blood sickle would have melted to the point that they start tasting warm blood. And then they lick it again and faster until eventually they bleed out. And that they would come back at the end of the day or the end of the evening the next morning, and there would just be wolves surrounding it. And it's a story that gets told a lot like the story of the boiling a frog, which is also, sorry to break this true, not true as well. But it's just one of those stories that gets told so much because we recognize even if the story's not true, it points to something that is true underneath it. And that this is oftentimes what happens when it comes to temptation in our lives and how it slowly starts to play out. What begins as curious eventually does end up a catastrophe because it starts out small and it clicks a box or it hits a neurotransmitter and man, that feels good, or man, that gives me escape, or that gives me relief, or that gives me a sense of false hope, but I'm looking for hope, and so I'll just take whatever I can get. And it feels good in the midst of whatever feels empty or bad or numb. And it gives us escape, and we keep doing it over and over and over until eventually we're the ones who suffer the consequences. And it's compounded. And so it's so much worse than how we started. And right? Temptation always underpromises where it takes you. And it always overpromises what it's going to give you. Like no one ever says, oh, I started it because I didn't think it was going to, like it had promised it was going to completely ruin my life, or it was going to cause me to be audited by the IRS or destroy us financially. That's why I started this journey, because I couldn't wait to destroy my marriage, because I thought it would be a wonderful, like none of us would have said that. None of us would have done that, because we don't believe at the very first moment that's where it's going to take us. But temptation always underpromises where it takes you and over-delivers where it does. And God's trying to rescue and warn not just the church in Corinth that's surrounded by temptation, but he's also downstream trying to speak to us, to protect us, because he wants to provide a way out. And so it does become, if it's not unique, it's universal, then our awareness is our armor. Like, what are the things that trip us up? If it's universal, there are certain things you struggle with, there's certain things I struggle with, and it's awareness that's one of the protections for us. Humility is one of them, where we're like, okay, I'm going to be aware that I could fall, that I could be tempted, and that there's nothing that's beyond my choices. There's nothing that I couldn't be or find myself in a place falling into. And we have that kind of humility. It protects you. And then you start to move to, okay, so what is it that most likely would trip me up? Let me be aware of that. So if I'm in a season where I'm emotionally dry and I'm not investing in our marriage and we're just not spending the time we need to be, then naturally I need to be more cognizant that I might be emotionally dried up in my relationship. Or if I'm financially feeling the pressure and things are tight and yet that one click is so easy and it makes me feel better, then that, I want to be aware of those things that can creep in. And those things that are going to check and ping and make me feel a little bit better or give me that escape. Because when you're aware of it, you can protect yourself from it and it becomes your armor. And if you really kind of want to draw circles even wider, and it's just not just the armor, but to go back a couple weeks and talk about the rumble strips, then I think you can draw even bigger circles in your lives. For example, one of the things that I do, again, this is just descriptive, not a prescriptive thing for you. But this is just how cognizant I want to be of my own life and my own temptation. But I don't have a single password that my wife can't get into. My wife has every passwords I have. Technically she could just hold my eyes open and scan my phone and get it all, right? But she has all my passwords. I don't delete text messages. I don't delete emails. And you may say, Chris, that's a lot of text messages and emails. But yes, Google reminds me frequently of how many messages I have sitting in my Google Drive box storage thing. But part of it is because I realized a long time ago, if I live my life like an open book, I don't have to be afraid of someone reading it. Part of that 12-step program, one of the sayings that is honesty is the antidote. Because shame and guilt and secrecy are where things grow, that often grow into our life and choke us out. That's honestly the things that derail us typically start in shadow places. And they choke us out as they continue to grow. So if you want to see my browser history from 2007, I don't know what was happening in 2007, but you can see it. Because it just protects me. Because it's all there. And it's freeing when you live with that kind of freedom. Because all of us have been in places where we've done things or said things or chose things and then the shame comes over. Or the cloud creeps in. And I just learned a long time ago, if I feel something off, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to confess it. Even if it's not wrong, even if it's not even at that point, it's just keep the rumble strips big and broad, and it'll protect you because your awareness is your armor when it comes to temptation and how to avoid it. And so this is a question. I don't know the answer, but I think you should know the answer. I think the enemy knows the answer to this. I think life will provide the answer to this if you're not careful. And so what's the answer? What do you know about you? If you were tasked to take you down, if someone paid you to destroy your marriage, ruin your reputation, destroy you financially, where would that place be? What would you be most tempted to do that? If you were opposition research for you, how would you take you down? Because you've got enough film in your mind to know. And so play back the film. Not to destroy you, but to protect you. And to build in that system. Because for some of us, it might not be that, oh, I'm not going to delete my text message. For some of you, it might be, I'm going to have a group of people around me and somebody's going to know my struggle. So that they can periodically just check in and say, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Because we need it. Because that is critical if we're going to find a way out. But it continues, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure. I think this is the craziest part of this whole thing, is that God actually promises in the midst of our temptation that he's going to provide a way out. The passage, the statement here, obviously, when this was written, English wasn't a language yet, and so he was writing this in the language of the day, which was Greek, and he uses this very interesting phrase when he says, provide a way out. It's actually a military phrase. It would have been where two armies were fighting in a mountain, kind of in a valley together, and one army starts to lose, and lo and behold, the army that's being crushed with the invading force, right behind them is a mountain pass that they can easily escape through. And when Paul's writing this letter, he uses that word for this phrase. So he's saying, look, in the midst of the battle, in the midst of the struggle, in the midst of where you find yourself, look around, God will provide a way out. It is already there. You're not stuck, you're not trapped, you're not stranded. You actually have an escape route that's already present, that God's already built into your path. And this is a promise. So no matter what you're dealing with right now, the good news is that there is a way out of what you're walking through. You're not trapped. You just haven't noticed the exit yet, which is good news. Right? He says God is faithful. Where is all this predicated on? It's God is making this promise on the very character of who he is. This is God saying, no, I'm putting my reputation at stake to save your reputation. I'm going to provide a way out for you. And he will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. He's saying, oh, by the way, not only am I faithful, not only am I going to provide a way out, when you're in it, it's not going to be so crushing that you can't endure it. It's not going to be so heavy you can't lift it. And so how can he make all of these promises? Well, he's making these promises to a group of people who are Christians. And what is at the base of Christianity? We've already talked about. There's this recognition of humility of my life is not perfect. I've sinned against God. I've made choices. I've wronged him. I've relationally damaged my relationship between God and me. And then on top of that, these choices have had relational impact on people around me. And yet God chose to chase after me and love me in spite of that. And that when I put my faith and my trust in him and I say, okay, what you've done covers what I've done. That's the first step. That is the crucial step of becoming a Christian, is that humility that marks us and that repentance that causes us to turn away from that life. But then there's another thing that happens instantaneous where the Spirit of God literally comes inside and takes up residence. It's this great, profound mystery that he himself is living inside of us and he's giving us power. That he's giving us this energy and this force, right? That victory isn't about willpower. It's about being connected to his power. And this is where we trip up sometimes. So we're like, oh, I just need more willpower. And it's like, no. You just need more his power that's already dwelling in you, because that's what Paul says to this group of Christians, that if you are in Christ, you already have every bit of the power you need to walk in victory. You don't need more hype videos. You don't need headphones with music. You don't need to punch and shadow box the air. The power of God's already living inside of you. The same power that raised Christ Jesus from the dead out of the empty grave is alive inside of you. And so you just tell me, are the chains around your wrists stronger and greater than a grave that had thought it had conquered Christ himself and wrapped the stone around it, and then 3 days later he walks out? Like, that's the power that currently exists dwelling inside of you. giving life to your members, so that no matter what you're walking through, you can experience victory because you are connected to his power. And that what happens when you put all this together is that the Spirit of God, I've got the humility to know that I don't have it figured out. I've got the awareness to know what armor I need to have about me. And then I'm walking with the recognition of the power that's living inside of me. And then all of a sudden, when I'm in a place and I'm just having a moment, even when that power's there, the humility's there, then that power and humility come together in the moments where I'm not sure I'm strong enough because I'm finally starting to lean into a temptation that has been plaguing me for a long time. God's reminder in that verse is that, oh, by the way, there is one of these nearby. So when you walked into this room, you were already surrounded by this. And if something had went south in this room, if a fire had broken out, you would have instantly known. You wouldn't have been like, I wonder which door. I do like the south exit. But the west exit is also very attractive to me on this day. No, you'd be like, there is a fire in the room. I want to get out. And when you walk into any commercial space, there's usually two of them. And God has provided that way out no matter what it is that you find yourself in the midst of right now. There are exit signs around you, pointing and saying, hey, take this way. In this room, there's one there, there, and there. And I promise you, if you're in the midst of a struggle right now where you're being tempted, there is an exit sign there, there, and there for you too. And not only is there an exit sign there, there's a power that's lit up these exit signs. So even when you don't have the clarity of mind, it does. And this is why God can hold out to us a life of victory. This is why at the core of Christianity, when people talk about having joy, hope, and peace, and power, and victory, it is not some vague platitudes. It's not some Hallmark card. It is something that you and I can walk in daily. Because it is possible. Not just because God's power is present, but because God has promised us, I am with you every single time, in every single moment. And even in the moments when you feel tempted, I've already been there and I've already carved out a mountain pass so that you can get past the mountain. That's his love. That's his grace. And maybe for some of you, part of the thing that you need to do today is that, honestly, you've never made that first step of stepping into Christianity. That you grew up around it, your parents had it, your grandparents had the faith, but for you, whether because of maybe a religious tradition that just got in the way, or maybe just you've never carved out the time to really wrestle with, like, do I believe this and what are the implications? Or quite honestly, if we're just being candid, the idea of saying, God, I don't want to give you my life because I want to continue to be in control of my life. And the idea of me having to submit to you isn't something I'm very open to right now. We can also just be honest about that too. But for whatever that reason, I would just implore you, as someone who has been pastoring for a long time and have sat beside numerous people who've taken their last breath, like, you're not promised tomorrow. I'm not promised tomorrow. But there's a God who holds today and who holds tomorrow. And his appeal to you is, turn to me. I've made a way for you. I love you. And that maybe that's your first grand exit, is to recognize that the biggest thing that's gotten in the way of your life is you and your sin. And that he holds out grace. And maybe for some of you, that's a big, bold step, but maybe for some of you, it's the first step of looking into Christianity or having a conversation. Look, any question you have about Christianity, it's valid. I became a Christian in college wrestling with theoretical physics and dealing with hypocrisy of Christians. And I never imagined this is what I'd be doing with my life. But God has a way of doing and rescuing and creating. I was a person who was living in chains and traps and wasn't looking for an exit room. I just looked for the rooms that I knew I shouldn't be in. And yet there was a God who kept being in those rooms, waiting patiently for me to turn from that. And so whatever that next step for you is, encounterchurch.com/faith, we've created a website where you can request a book or request a coffee sit-down conversation where we just, start with your questions and or where you can learn more about what it means to be a Christian and let us know so that we can help you get started. But for all of us, I know that to be human is to be tempted. It's not unique, it's universal. And that what we see with Paul's words that's so incredibly encouraging, no matter who you are and no matter what you're facing, is that God does provide an exit to our struggles, and he does provide a way out. Let's pray. Father, thank you. Thank you that you're good and you're gracious and that you desire for us to walk in freedom. That we're not meant to live, we're not meant to be slaves to those things, to those chains, to those struggles. That you desire us to have that freedom. And so may you help us to walk in that freedom. May you help us to experience and taste that freedom. I pray that you would give us the courage to invite people in today if that's the next step for us. That you'd give us the clarity to step into relationship with you if that's our next step today. And thank you that you're faithful, that you're good, and that you desire a life filled with better decisions and fewer regrets. And that you have paved the way for us to walk as free children of you, no longer slaves to the things that used to trap us. And it's in your holy name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. So today we'll close out the way that we normally close out with just one more song, just as a way carving out space, because we know how life can be. And we know that in the midst of the message and maybe the music prior, God might have been doing something and maybe some things that stirred inside of you and some thoughts bubbled up. And we don't want you to rush past that in the course of going into the rest of your day. And so we just believe that there's something to be said for leaving a little bit of extra space at the end of the service just for you to process through what we've talked through. And so the team is going to close this out with a song, and then Josh will be back up to just kind of to dismiss you. But this song is really, it's no longer a slave to fear. And it's really meant to kind of give us breathing room to say, God, where are those areas in my life where temptation is starting to choke my life out? Or I'm starting to plant some seeds that maybe in a year from now is going to be taking root and starting to be something that's trying to destroy my life or my marriage or my finances or my spiritual life or professional or personal. And so our desire is that in this song that maybe God will kind of start to give you that clarity so we can start to take those steps. So I want to invite you to stand if you can, and our team will lead us in that, and then Josh will be back up to dismiss.
You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again to your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am your sons and daughters. Let us sing our freedom. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me and I will stand and sing. Yeah, I'm a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. 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 I am a child of God.
I am a child of God.
I'm no longer a slave to fear. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
Thank you for worshiping with us this morning. This is a reminder that if you don't know who you are, I think you should know you're a child of God. So your sin or your temptation, you're no longer a slave of any of those things that happen in your life. Don't beat yourself up. Walk in faith and live by faith and know that God has you. He has your back. So if you need the words today, a way out, that's your way out. Because whatever you're doing, you think, oh, Josh, I don't know. I've done it. I messed up. My life is no good. You are a child of God. Your sin does not identify you. It doesn't define who you are. Know that you walk with your head high and you're a child of God. If you walk somewhere in the room, you have to claim it because God is with you. Man, I am no longer a slave of fear because God is my Father. I am a child of God. I hope this will be your testimony for this week, your word for this week. As you walk in, people looking at you, funny. You don't know my daddy. God is my daddy, right? People say, you can't do it. This is the impossible. You can't do it. You don't know because God can work miracle. He is the greatest doctor. Whatever the doctor tell you, listen to the doctor sometime. Whatever they tell you that, hey, that's not, no. My daddy, he's the greatest doctor, right? I am a child of God. Man, I can sit in that one too. That's a good song. If you're looking for a place to fellowship, tomorrow we have men's group at 7 o'clock. All the men's here, I'm looking forward to see you. We have women's group November 3rd at 7 o'clock. I heard they're pretty good, but I don't know. So I'm waiting for the men's group tomorrow. Please come through. Student ministry, Oh, there, it's right there. Thank you. November 2nd, students ministry at 12:30, right after church. Come up. Young adult or youth, it's November 2nd, again at 6 p.m., I believe. You have an event November 7th and 9th. That was right there. Yep. Made for more. All right, November 7th and 8th, Encounter Church and Avenue Church, coming through. So again, you have a great Sunday, have a blessed Sunday, knowing that God got you. Whatever you're going through in your life, you're a child of God. Be blessed and God be with you. Thank you.